Hi, this is Kim Minor, Superintendent of the Exeter Township School District. I'm coming to you with this video today to talk about some really important developments that have come up relative to COVID-19 in our schools. Last week, the governor and the Secretary of Health sent out new mitigation orders in the state. Those mitigation orders applied to capacity limits. They applied to, for instance, the fact that bars had to close at 5 o'clock before Thanksgiving, etc. But within those new orders was something that was really significant for schools. And that was that all school districts have to sign an attestation form. And I'll talk more about what that means if they wanted to continue to have their school buildings open for in-person learning. If the school district refused to sign the form, then all of their schools and all of their students had to be fully virtual by December 1st. So the school board of the Exeter Township School District has made it clear that they wish to keep our buildings open and to continue to pursue hybrid learning. And so Dr. Hemberger, the former president of the board, and I did sign that attestation form last week, and we turned it in by the deadline, which was November 30th. So what does that mean for our school district? Well, we committed to two very specific items. Number one is that we will follow the new masking orders. The new masking orders are a little more stringent. So face shields, for instance, are a last resort for face covering. Cloth masks are to be ruled out before people use face shields. Masking itself, previously, if you could maintain social distance, so for instance, if two of our business office employees could stay more than 7 feet apart, they could work without wearing masks. Now, if you're in the same room, regardless of the distance, everyone has to wear a mask at all times. So some real changes there, and we've committed to following them. But the more significant item, and the one that I really want to make sure our families understand, is that we will follow the procedures to close schools relative to the number of student and staff positives that we have at any one given time, actually within a 14-day rolling period. So a couple of things. One, we have put up a dashboard. It's on our website. If you go to our website, you'll see a large coronavirus square. If you click on that, you'll go to our coronavirus page. On that page, you'll find a lot of really important information. You'll see our health and safety plan, and you will see our attestation form. So if you want to see the actual language of the form that we signed, that's right there for you on the webpage. But also what you'll see are the charts that talk about how many student and staff positives you need to have in a 14-day period before the district has to close, as well as how districts are sized, those sorts of things. We are going to be updating our dashboard daily with our student and staff positives. So you're welcome to check that on a regular basis, and that will help you see when we have to make the decision to close schools. I say decision, it's not really a decision. It's an action that we are mandated to take. So what does that mean? All of our schools, except for the high school, have been categorized as small schools. So that's schools with fewer than 500 students. And we calculated the size of the school based on the number of students who are actually in attendance. So full virtual students are subtracted from that. So then our high school is categorized as a medium-sized school. For small schools, if we have 2 to 4 cases in a 14-day period, we have to close for between 3 and 7 days. And that 3 to 7 days is dependent on the context, when the cases happen, whether or not we know the connection, etc. And then for the for the small schools, if we have 5 or more cases, then we have to close for 14 days as a result of that. So what does that look like in terms of, day to day as a family? What that could mean is that on any given day, even tonight, I could be in the situation where I have to call and tell parents that school's canceled tomorrow. So for instance, if by the end of the day today, Watton Creek has 1 staff positive and 1 student positive, that's 2 positives in the school, I have to close the school for 3 to 7 days, and families would be notified accordingly. If today, by the end of the day, Jackson Wald has 5 positives, I have to close that school for 14 days. Then when the school has finished that building closure and the school reopens, if the very next day there's more cases, 2 to 4, 5 or more, the district has to close those buildings again. So from a family standpoint, you could have a child at Watton Creek, a child at Rifton, a child at the junior high, and Rifton and the junior high could be closed, but the other school is open. So there's not going to be necessarily closures across the district. So that we recognize could prove as a challenge to families. The other thing that we anticipate will be difficult for families to manage is that this will be with very little notice. We know that virtual learning has been really hard for a lot of families. We know that childcare has been a big issue, and we've tried really hard to give families a lot of advance notice so that they could plan for childcare and they could make arrangements and they could get their kids set up for virtual learning. With this new attestation form that we had to sign, we will not be able to give you significant notice. I literally may be calling in the morning like a snow day and saying, your child's school is canceled for the day. Or calling in the evening, your child's school is canceled for the next 3 days, the next 7 days, the next 14 days. So what I'm asking you as a family is please be prepared. To the best of your ability, have backup childcare plans, talk to your employer, let them know that this is the case. And I want to assure you that this is not unique to Exeter Township School District. This is all school districts in Pennsylvania are in this position. And so it's not our school board who's deciding this. It's not me. It's not Kim Minor who's decided this. It is in order to not be fully virtual, we have to abide by these closure documents. And so to give you an example, over the holiday break, over Thanksgiving, as we tracked our numbers, during that break, we would have had to close all 6 of our buildings. So we fully anticipate that buildings will be closed. They may close this week, they may close next week. It's impossible to say, but I really want to emphasize to families that you need to be prepared that at any time you could get a phone call from me that says I have to close your child's school building. Now, we'll revert to virtual. Your child will continue to learn. They'll have their same teacher. We'll do all of those things. But I do think it's really imperative that families understand the potential impact of that. I do want to emphasize that while your child is in school, our teachers, our support staff, our administrators, they're working incredibly hard to keep students safe and keep staff safe within our schools. Everybody's wearing their masks, social distancing is being taken with the utmost seriousness. And so I have a tremendous confidence in what our team is doing relative to in-school safety. And I do want to thank you for your patience, for your resilience. This has been undoubtedly the most challenging year in public education ever. And I really want to thank our teachers, our support staff, our parents, our students. If you are watching this, know that you're appreciated. We know how hard this year has been, and we thank you for your ongoing support of Exeter Township Schools and the education that we provide. This is hard. It's going to, I think, in the short term get harder, but we will get through this together. Stay safe.